Free for all Friday. It's free. No salesman will call. Just come on in and welcome aboard here. Free for all Friday. Brian McMillan, welcome aboard.
Everybody's selling something. What are we selling?
I don't know. We'll come up with something.
Entertainment and information? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know. We should be a little more like selling something on here. We'll come up with something, and then we'll split the profits since we don't get anything from the developers like everybody says we do. Anyway, good July 4th for you, Brian, your family?
It was great.
It was great. I stayed here in town. Actually, I rented the Margaritaville Hotel suite on the top floor and pretended I was a tourist right here at home.
Wow, cool.
And really enjoyed it. It was really cool. Craig McKinney, good to have you back, our economic development guy for the city of Palm Coast. Did you have a good 4th of July?
I did. It's great to see you. Thanks for having us back.
Yeah, we got a lot of good things to talk about. Some things that have happened are happening, and Craig's going to give us the insight of that. Also, our Brigadier General, Palm Coast City Councilman Charlie Gambaro. Welcome back.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Friday.
Yeah.
How we doing?
All right. Good. A little bit later in the program, we are going to talk with the DC BLOX and find out about subsea cable. Some actually amazing things. Brian, you did a good job in writing it up in the paper, too, so I learned a lot about that. But, all right, well, let's trash talk right now. That's what I'm waiting for. All right.
It is Friday.
All right. So, all right, our mayor at the last meeting, which was a workshop meeting, at the end of the, by the way, we'll talk about budget too, because that was, I think there was a lot of good work on that. If you can move up closer to your mic there. Thank you.
All right. Can you hear me now? Okay.
All right. So give us the latest update here with the mayor. I'll summarize a little bit, was that the judge said no standing on suing you and everything, saying you shouldn't be in office, shouldn't have been appointed, should have waited for an election. They're saying, no, baloney, everything was done right. You're legitimate. You're there. $30,000 tab or so for us taxpayers to pay on the mayor's legal bill, who he said, I'm not going to reimburse the city for that, even though it was pretty well established that there was no chance of winning it. And $15,000 we had to pay for the ethics investigation of him, which has now gone to Tallahassee for further. And then the other comment he made was, I don't care if I spend $1 million of taxpayers' money. I'm going to defend the taxpayers of this town. Is that what you get out of it, Brian?
That sounds like an accurate summary.
All right. So where do we go from here, Councilman Gambaro? Where does the ethics? It's in Tallahassee right now. So if they come back and go, it was found that he did violate all these things, even though he says he didn't. It comes back from Tallahassee. What does that mean? What do we do with that? What happens? Where do we go?
Sure. Well, I think first and foremost, I just want to thank Judge France for ruling in favor of our residents in the city with regards to the standing and merits from the case that was presented. This whole situation placed a ton of stress, not just on the city, but myself personally, our families. And especially with regards to, I was just a guy that applied to the process. I had nothing to do with the adjudication on how we were going to move forward. But I think Judge Franz, I know Judge Franz made the right decision, and so we're looking forward to moving past this. I did ask the question, at Tuesday's workshop, how much did this cost, and then $1 million Mike made his comment about that he wasn't concerned about spending $1 million worth of taxpayers' funds, which is a problem. And then we're trying to stay focused on the issues that matter for our residents. With regards to the Ethics Commission investigation, we haven't heard back, but if it does come back with a finding, and I've been the first one that's been on record to say that I think I pushed for the vote of no confidence based on the results of the investigation and the censure of the mayor. I also still believe that, especially if we have a finding that comes back from the Ethics Commission, that our council needs to come together and ask the governor to remove Mayor Norris for all the different things that he's done. Listen, I've been a leader in organizations my whole life. Not just military organizations, right? This is my third public position here in Flagler County. And I've never in my life seen the person that's supposed to be the leader of the organization attack it, turn its guns on its own organization and attack it. That's not leadership, and that to me just says a lot. And the process of deflecting and extending the chaos into other areas is just not helpful for the issues that we're supposed to be focused on. And I think and it's not helpful for trying to bring folks in that to invest in our community, to grow jobs, to tackle the things that our citizens are really concerned about. So the hope is that we're going to move forward. We'll wait and see what the Ethics Commission comes back with, and we'll take it from there.
What do you think, Brian?
Well, I've been thinking a lot about this. I think a lot of people are. I had a conversation with somebody yesterday morning who was telling me that they had voted for Mayor Norris and that he's kind of very nervous about the next 3.5 years, just as a resident in the community, because it's just been one thing after another. And it's like, it seems like you'd have to predict that there's going to be more kind of very extraordinary type of things that would be said and done. And so he said that he was just very disappointed. And I don't know. I mean, there is like there is at least some group that's very loud on Facebook and that come to city council meetings and say, we're still, we're behind you, Mayor Mike. And we know that it's just, the powerful people in the back room somehow that is trying to take you down because you're standing up for us. And that there are some people that feel that way. And I guess I'm wondering, I don't really know, but I don't know what kind of, I wish we could figure out what kind of, what the level of support is now. Because I think that election obviously has emboldened him to the point where he feels like he doesn't really need to communicate with staff or try to work toward consensus with the board and things like that. It seems like he is basically just talking to the people who, support him the most fiercely. And, he doesn't talk to the media. He basically only communicates through Facebook to the people who he knows are going to rally behind him. I think he may be on the assumption that he still has the same mandate that he did on the day one when he was elected. And, but the guy who I was talking to, my friend who, was saying he voted for him and now he feels differently. I guess I wonder how many other people feel that way in the community.
Well, I talk to a lot of people that do, and I talk to people that think he's doing the right thing. That's the thing about human nature. We have our own cognitive bias, and that's what we believe, and we're not going to change our mind for it. Even though a lot of people did change their mind because they thought, hey, here's a great guy. He's a veteran and served our country and kind of a fireball, and we're going to get things done. And disappointed a lot of people. But I do also, though, in that he believes he's doing the right thing. Some people think that's pretty twisted to come up with that conclusion when it's hard to see the positive outcome of anything that he's done or believes in. So I have an idea. All right. And this is all up to you.
Is this the surprise that you were talking about?
This is a surprise. Yeah.
Okay,
I said I'm going to surprise you. What if we do a poll and we ask, not just the voter, but the people that are in Palm Coast, have an interest in Palm Coast, to text the mayor on his city cell phone, which we the taxpayers pay for, so we're not interrupting his personal cell phone. And we text the mayor and say, hey, Mayor Mike, I love you. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. Or we text him and say, you need to go. Please resign. So it'd be kind of an A or B. Yes, we support you. No, we don't. And just text it to him, because a lot of people go about their lives. They're not going to go on and voice their opinion on Flagler Live or in you and all that kind of stuff to it. But there's a whole lot of everyday people out there that do have an opinion now about this that's been going on long enough. So what if we let everybody text the mayor's cell phone and saying, yay or nay? What do you think?
Well, we would never know the results of that. So, but
that's not true. He shares information from his phone all the time.
He said his phone gets passed around. I asked him, like, how did the voicemail get out? And he said, my phone gets passed around. So
Well, we'll
it would
ask
be.
him.
I would be very curious to see what those results would be. I mean, if anything, it would mostly be a personal message that he would.
Yeah.
Maybe he would see like, hey, there's more people out there that are having a hard time, but maybe the only people who would do
All
it are those.
So
Anyway.
we're gonna do it.
All right.
I'm gonna give you right now, everybody, the mayor's city cell phone. We're not, harassing him personally or anything like that, because it's our cell phone that he has the honor and the right to use while he serves us. So here it is. Mayor Mike Norris's cell phone is 386-276-4016. You can also get it online. I mean, on the city website. It's public record, so we're not doing anything here. But if you really think he's doing a great job, let him know. But if you think he's really screwing up and he's off his rocker and he's messing up everything in the city and you think he should resign, say just that. Real simple. Resign. Good job, whatever. Be nice about it. There's people that are so juvenile, and and on our WNZF Facebook page, people say like real childish, things, or, insult council people and all that. We just delete them.
Facebook is just
and then they go, hey, we're deleting because we don't want to
full of
trash
misbehavior.
Trash up the observers.
we got plenty of those comments already.
Yeah, go to the Observer. Anyway, so here it is. So text, spread the word around to people. We want people that have an interest. Even if you're out of town and you own a business here, or you're out of town and you don't have to be a voter to do this. This is a community straw poll kind of thing. So here, the number is 386-276-4016, directly to the mayor's cell phone number. And let them know what you think. And then after, we'll, promote it for a week or so. And then we'll call him up and ask him, if he'll share the results with us and just see where we're at. So.
Well, it's going back to your favorite phrase, cognitive bias. I saw somebody who is a big supporter of Mayor Norris posting on Facebook the other day saying, like, people are complaining about the $30,000 for... that likely is coming out of the general fund for to pay for this lawsuit that Mayor Norris filed against the city, against Gambaro, and this person was just listing off all kinds of ways that they thought the city was like wasting money, and I just was like kind of marveling at that, because that person has been complaining about those things. But now that this supposed, waste of money is something that Mayor Norris did, then all of a sudden it's like the script is totally flipped. Now it's like, well, they shouldn't be wasting money on that. This is hardly any money compared to what they're really wasting on other things. And it just kind of shows, again, like, once you got your mind made up,
you'll minimize
you'll twist any kind of logic to try to make it work. And we see that in politics all the time. If I'm a Republican, then everything the Democrats do is bad. I was listening to WNZF yesterday on my way home and listening to one of the conservative talk shows, and he was promoting his book that basically is all about how Democrats are literally evil and trying actively to destroy America. But that's how the party system kind of.
Well, that's how we all have beliefs and cognitively, but like you said at the beginning, a lot of people who voted for Mike Norris for mayor had a lot of faith and hope and everything about it, and were disappointed on what had happened since that time. And so this gives those people a chance to be heard and say, I continue to support him, or I think he should resign. He's screwing up the city. Because when the four, Charlie Gambaro, you and Teresa and Sullivan and Ty, when you guys are talking business and everything amongst each other, I'm like, wow, this is a well-functioning city here.
It is.
It is not dysfunctional at all by any means. But then this is the kind of stuff we're talking about right now. And it's such a renegade, out of proportion, kind of a head scratcher on why is this happening? And,
I'll tell you, I mean, from the council's perspective, I mean, the rest of us are trying to reasonably work through the issues that are brought before us from our residents, and then the major tasks that we've got to accomplish, on a regular basis. I don't agree with everything, the other council members have to say, but that's okay as long as we're reasonable about it. And it doesn't mean we can't come together as a team. I'll tell you what, one of the big items that the mayor said, hey, I don't want to waste taxpayer dollars, so I'm not going to Tallahassee. I got to tell you, that was one of the most productive trips as a team that we took, and it was effective. And we, just the networking that we did, and just the professional and personal relationship developments that we have with Senator Leak and Representative Greco has really changed things in a way that it shows that we really can work together. And so you asked the question, David, how do we go forward? Well, let's try to be reasonable, and it's okay to disagree. But on things that you have to take a stand on, you take a stand on, and you do it as professionally as you can. But I think, for investors that want to come here to the city of Palm Coast and people that want to move here, the message is Palm Coast is a great place to live. It's paradise. The city council is a reasonable organization that's trying to move forward and better the lives of our residents every day. And, the majority of us, right? Four of us. And then we've got a mayor that's just focused on his core beliefs with his core supporters, and that's okay. Democracy is messy, right? And we've just got to learn how to wade through it, but we've got to do it within the parameters and the rules that we all signed up to protect and defend.
Well, some of those rules, this is another thing that's, I think, again, this is my conversation with my friend of mine yesterday. The city charter helps define what the role of the mayor is. And it is to be like the ceremonial figurehead. And those things Mayor Norris has declined, basically refused to participate in, like showing up at these events. Like it's kind of like not participating in the July 4th festivities, this weekend. That's actually in the charter to like be part of that. That's why the mayor gets a little more money than the other city council members, because they're always, involved with that. And I think that he's in a very difficult position in some ways, because he has had a vote of no confidence. So in that sense, like, do you really want me to now fill this role on these other boards that, like all the city council members are part of like 3 or 4 or 5 other boards that, and if I'm Mayor Norris and I just had a vote of no confidence against me, I can sort of understand why he'd say, well, I probably shouldn't be on those boards if all of you just took a vote of no confidence in me. So some of those things, it is kind of in.
Well, let's stop there for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's what he's assumed.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
If the 4 councilmen that said no confidence said, we don't want you doing this or whatever, that would be one thing. Nobody said, don't do your job. All they said was, we don't have confidence.
Do you want him to serve on those boards? I mean, you said you have no confidence in him. Why would you want him to serve on the board?
Well, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
But,
well, that's the opinion of all 4.
Yeah.
The whole city council felt
right.
that way.
But that's also being derelict in his duties. I mean, somebody that spent a career in the military. I mean, one of the biggest things you could do is be derelict in your duties, and that's what he's doing. I mean, I've been very clear in letters that I've published, and that the fact that he's abdicated his job. I mean, even in combat, when things are extremely tough and you don't like it, and you don't like the people around you, and sometimes the enemy does get a vote. A lot of times the enemy gets a vote. You still have to do your job. It's like what Bill Belichick says, right? Do your damn job, right? And so he was elected to do a job, even if the people around him don't agree with the way he's doing it. They don't have any confidence. He is supposed to still do his job. Otherwise it's a dereliction of duty.
I mean, my God, July 4th. I mean, how unpolitical or whatever it is, as the mayor of the city, to not even show up and leave Teresa Pontieri, vice mayor, to cover his tracks again on it and everything. To me, that is an insult to the people and his fellow everybody and the voters. The July 4th.
He's also declined to participate in the city's town hall series. One city council member at a time. I went to Ms. Pontieri's, and he said he doesn't want to participate in that. My question, you talk about economic development. Sure. And like a business coming to town, things like that. If you're trying to come and bring jobs and stuff, I would think that meeting the mayor, you would probably want to do that.
Right.
And that would be a pretty tough situation if he said, well, I don't meet at City Hall because I don't trust the City Hall environment, because that's what he has said publicly. I'm not going to meet at City Hall. And he has proclaimed what his state of the city vision is. It is basically a place that's been overrun with quote unquote swamp peddlers who are basically ruining the city for the taxpayers. And if that's the vision that he would then explain, if he's being true to what he feels about it with economic development, I think that that's a major concern.
Okay.
I would say that, if you want to open a business here, come meet with any one of us, any of the council members, and, meet with our acting mayor, Teresa Pontieri. I mean, she's doing a fine job filling in, and she is literally our acting mayor.
All right, we're gonna take a break, and we're gonna come back. We're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about budget yet before we're done.
Let's do it.
But we're gonna go to we're gonna talk with DC BLOX here in just a second. But once again, we're doing it, throwing it out there, unscientific straw poll. Mayor Norris directly to his cell phone. You can let him know what you think. You love him. He's doing a great job. Don't give up. Spend $1 million. We don't care. Or, you know what, you've gone too far, enough is enough, you're off the rails, and you should resign or alter the way you are behaving, and kind of embarrassing a lot of people in this town, quite frankly. But anyway, here's the cell phone number, 386-276-4016. Write it down, share it. If you have an interest in Palm Coast, you live here, you love it, and you have an opinion on it, go ahead and voice it, and, we'll call up the mayor in a week or so and say, hey, Mayor Mike, what's the ratio on that? 386-276-4016. Let the mayor know what you think. We'll be right back with Bill Thompson with DC BLOX. And Craig McKinney.
For the best happy hour on the beach every day from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. You'll love these drinks.
Johnny D's Beach Bar and Grill. We're waiting for you.
Carla. And that's Alan.
If you don't know who we are,
Now you do.
we're the owners of your local Benjamin Moore paint store.
Next time you're thinking about painting, think about us. Benjamin Moore, corner of Old Kings and Utility Drive.
Palm Coast.
Flagler County is an awesome place to live, and we have so many exciting things to look forward to. Hi, I'm your Flagler County Commissioner, Leanne Pennington. Already we've been able to accomplish many things you may not be aware of. We've funded flood prevention efforts. We've protected environmentally sensitive land throughout the county. We've created new economic development incentives that will create new jobs, and we're one of the safest counties in the state of Florida. I'm Commissioner Leanne Pennington. Thank you for your support.
We're back Free for All Friday for this July 11th, 2025. We've got lots of people watching us on TV on our Facebook page right now. Hello, everybody. Whether you listen on the radio, podcast, broadcast, streaming, we appreciate you being out there and tuning in to what's happening in the community here. Our guest in the studio, Brigadier General Charlie Gambaro, also we're honored to have as our city councilman in the city of Palm Coast. And thank you for serving us here as well as our country. Also, Craig McKinney, who's been kind of quiet first part of the show. Don't blame you. I would be too. And but he is our economic development manager, and your job is to bring in the companies and the bucks and jobs and all that, right, Craig?
That's right, and that's why we're so happy to be here today to talk about the announcement that came out this week with DC BLOX and Google.
Yeah, and thank you, Brian did a great job on talking about it, but I had a lot of other questions. So if you don't know, I'm just going to read real quickly the press release from DC BLOX, a leading provider of connected data centers and fiber network solutions across the southeastern United States, announced its plans to build a second subsea cable landing station campus in Palm Coast, Florida. The new location will be the newest global network node supporting international data communications. Palm Coast campus will provide global access to the U.S. through a diverse southeast location, distinct from existing northern, mid-Atlantic, and southern cable landings, ensuring more resilient and reliable international communications. And that's all happening right here. So I'd like to welcome to the show DC BLOX. He's Vice President of Marketing and Product Management, Bill Thompson. Good morning, Bill.
Hey, David. How are you? Hey, thanks for having me on your show.
We're doing great. Councilman Charlie Gambaro, say good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you, sir?
Doing great. How are you?
All right. Look forward to, growing the partnership.
And Craig McKinney, our economic development guy, say good morning to Bill Thompson.
Hey, good morning, Bill. Good to chat with you, and thanks for your time today.
And Brian McMillan, who's our editor-publisher of the local newspaper, the Palm Coast Observer, say good morning, Brian.
Good morning.
All right. So I think this is really cool. I mean, is this the ultimate in economic development? And what does it really mean to Flagler County? So we'll ask Bill that, but Craig, you as our economic development guy, this is a big win, right?
It's a fantastic win, and I think all of us are really excited about it. You know, what it means for the city, for the county, it's just a signal when you have a company like DC BLOX who has a client like Google that's coming in and they chose Palm Coast as their location. It really puts Palm Coast on the map from a global perspective, from a digital infrastructure perspective, and as a gateway to next generation technology. So we are thrilled about it.
So, Bill Thompson, my question to you: why Palm Coast?
Well, I think you actually mentioned it in your reading of the press release, and it kind of sounds like a little esoteric nomenclature, but it is a diverse route on the eastern seaboard of the United States. And what that means is a lot of the cable landings are sort of congregated in some cables landing in Virginia Beach. We opened Myrtle Beach cable landing station in 2023, and then you have to go all the way down to South Florida, Miami area, for other cables. And a lot of the subsea cable owners, which are the global telecom carriers, and we call them hyperscalers, but the largest tech companies today, like Google, they like diversity, which means Google will run multiple cables from the southeast to Europe. They have another cable coming out of Myrtle Beach. And they want to make sure that if something happens to that cable, it goes down or gets cut accidentally, there's a way of rerouting data traffic to the southeastern United States. So diversity is about keeping the cable separate from running no matter what.
Paint a picture here, a cable. Okay, it comes ashore at Flagler Beach, right?
That's correct. So the cable landing station itself, there's some beach infrastructure, if you will. So we dig under the beach and we run conduits effectively. We call them bore pipes, but they're conduits that will accept those cables when they're ready to come in. They run under the beach. They're connected with an underground fiber, network fiber, cable that's very similar to what you might have for, AT&T or any of your ISPs trying to connect to your houses. That runs under the ground and connects to the cable landing station, so effectively allowing the data to transfer from the subsea cable itself all the way to the cable landing station where it has its communications and power equipment.
How big around is this cable?
Believe it or not, it's quite small. I mean, the fiber optic strands that are within it are, almost just a tad thicker than your hair. And, going around is probably about, it's got a lot of protective padding around it, but it's probably going to be, less than, 3-4 inches in diameter.
Wow.
And that's going all the way under the ocean, all the way to Spain.
That is correct. And that's a long way, but we've seen the longest cable that has ever been laid is connecting from our Myrtle Beach cable landing station to South America. That's over 9,000 miles long, and connecting from Florida to Europe. By the way, that is a first, because most of the cables connecting into Florida are connecting to South America. So Google has that, goal for having diversity and having multiple landings and expanding connectivity to Europe.
See, I thought that, a lot of this was satellite stuff, and that was how, globally all the Starlinks and however, a gazillion satellites up there. I thought all this communication was in the satellite. Is this something new with subsea cables?
Well, believe it or not, the first subsea cable was laid, international subsea cable between France and the United Kingdom was laid in 1851. The first transatlantic cable, subsea cable, connecting the United States to Europe was 1898.
So we're talking back in the dial-up days.
This was telegraph. That was connecting
before dial-up. Yeah, it's telegraph.
Before dial-up.
Yeah.
So, as you can imagine, in 125 years, the technology has progressed quite a bit, and we have some of the most sophisticated technologies now connecting international. And more than 95% of internet traffic internationally travels over these cables.
And to circle back where Bill was just a moment ago, not only is this a win for the city, but I believe this is a win for Florida in general because, Bill, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Florida has been missing out on a lot of the recent cable announcements, and I think this is the first cable announcement in Florida since 2016, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And like I said, now connecting this Florida to Europe and beyond. So we'll see an aggregation of new networks connecting into the cable landing station because obviously once that international data traffic comes in, it needs to go in a variety of directions. To the south, obviously north to Atlanta, up the coast, be able to hit all regional and national destinations. So it'll be quite the global connectivity hub.
So cable comes ashore underground, Flagler Beach, and then it goes to town center somehow?
Yes. So we'll be laying underground, fiber networks to connect those subsea cables and carry the data about a mile and a half into the cable landing station in Palm Coast.
So how do you get I can kind of picture the cable coming up out of the, in the sand and on Flagler Beach, but, somewhere out, 200 miles out into the ocean, how do you bury that cable?
Yeah. Well, that's a good question, and I will say that's not our job. We're connecting the cables in our cable landing station, providing the building. Companies like Google are owning that cable, but I would say the general process is, and they have these very specialized ships that are going to, wind up thousands and thousands of miles of cable, and when the cable is closer to the shore, they will bury it to make sure it doesn't get caught by fishing, trawling, or other obstacles in the general area. So they'll bury it 4 or 5 meters when it's closer to shore. But then once it gets further out, they just lay it on the bottom of the ocean.
What's it cost to do that, to run a cable from Florida, Palm Coast to Spain? My God.
I can't give you an exact number since that's not our particular responsibility, but it is tens to hundreds of millions of dollars. So there's obviously a good reason for doing it.
Well,
Charlie, go ahead.
Yeah. So, sir, first of all, I just want to say thank you for choosing to invest in the city of Palm Coast and in Flagler County. And my understanding, it's a $35 million investment that you're bringing in, correct?
That's correct. Yes,
All right.
And those are just the buildings, and there'll be more coming as more fiber networks and such are trying to connect up with us.
And as you start up your operations and start expanding, I know it's kind of there'll be an initial footprint of employees. What's the vision for the future?
Yeah, data centers in general don't require a lot of prem employees, if you will. We obviously will be constructing the facility. The first phases will probably take a little over a year, probably 18 months, and then there'll be future phases. So construction jobs, we have a habit of hiring local labor where we can to build those facilities. Not a big job provider, but a lot of services that we enable. So as an example, it's not only a cable landing station, which is a specialized data center, but it also provides space and power, a secure, reliable facility for enterprise business computer equipment. So when you have a secure, reliable, state-of-the-art data center like what we're building there, local businesses can store their computer equipment there and run their operations. And that tends to attract more tech-dependent companies that rely on that kind of infrastructure that might not have been in place prior in this area.
Well,
okay.
I think it's great. It's a tech incubator, and certainly I think it's going to attract more and more like businesses going forward. So thanks again for choosing Palm Coast, and we look forward to being great partners with you.
Bill, I got a question. You know, we hear about how these data centers just suck up a lot of electricity, which is, you know, on the grid. It's causing concern for, you know, can we supply enough power for these kind of things here? How are we set here in Palm Coast for supplying the power that you need?
Yeah, you're in good shape. A lot of the data centers that get the news are the much larger facilities that are built for hyperscale, you know, very large tech companies. A cable landing station itself will be requiring 10 megawatts of power, which is already committed by the utilities, and you know, it's probably, you know, no more power than, you know, a large business or a manufacturing plant. So we're in good shape in Palm Coast.
All right. Well, very good. Well, I hope you've been treated well as a client and a prospect for economic development. And I know a lot of people have been working on this for a long time. This isn't something that just happened overnight.
Absolutely. We couldn't thank, you know, the local folks, economic development, county and city officials, for all the support that we've received. This is a big project. We think it has a lot of local benefits, but, you know, I think we all share the vision that this is good for the county, this is good for the state of Florida and the region.
All right. I got it. When you're in town, stop on by. We'll have you in the studio on Free For All. I got a lot of other stupid questions to ask you that I'm wondering about, but we'll hold them for there because we're out of time. But Bill Thompson, CD BLOX, welcome to Palm Coast Town Center, and I think, Craig, you said it really well. It puts Palm Coast Town Center on the global map for technology.
Absolutely. It's a new chapter for us, and it's a great catalyst for high-tech jobs in Palm Coast. So, again, we're thrilled. And, Bill, thanks again for everything you're doing, and thanks for joining us today.
All right, Bill. Hey, have a great weekend. We appreciate you being with us, okay?
You too. Thanks for having me.
All right. Okay.
Speaking of the map, you can see the map on in the Palm Coast Observer. It's on our website. Also, this kind of like cross Atlantic. I don't know. Kind of helps visualize it a little bit, but
you know how
it's pretty cool.
There's an app, you know, like Flight Aware. You look at all the airplanes flying around, and you're like, oh my God, you know. There's another one like that on cables in the world, and you just look at them. There's thousands and thousands of them undersea. All over. We're going to take a break. We'll be back. What about the budget of Palm Coast here coming up? Charlie Gambaro and a lot of other good possibilities, maybe. We're going to see if we can get some information out of our Economic Development Director, Craig McKinney, Brian McMillan, and you. We'll be right back.
Configuring the Bluetooth. Deciding who controls the music. Remembering where you parked. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with an auto owner's insurance independent agent, getting the right coverage for your vehicle doesn't have to be one of them. So you can get back to more important things, like remembering if you're on the third or fourth level of the parking garage. That's simple human sense.
Hi, this is Donald O'Brien. In Flagler County, call the Hayward Brown Flagler Agency at 437-7767.
If you want to sell it, you got to get it on the market.
I'm Sam Perkovich.
And I'm Lauren McPherson, brokers at Parkside Realty.
Our agents are the best in the business, and we know how to sell your home.
Check us out at parksiderealtygroup.net. Call 302-0300.
Free for All Friday, July 11, 2025. And if you just tuned in, you can catch the podcast and replay on our YouTube channel, WNZF Facebook page, also podcast on the Flagler Radio mobile app. A lot of people catch up with it. And if you missed the first part, we just talked with Bill Thompson, who's the Vice President, Marketing, Product Management of... I was going to ask him about dark fiber. You know what dark fiber is, Craig?
I think it's just fiber that's laid down but not being used at the moment.
Oh, okay. All right. So as economic development guy, does this give you something to go running out and talking to other tech companies to come to Palm Coast?
Sure. So, on that note, exactly. We like to promote the companies that have already decided to invest here, right? And certainly we've got a nice existing roster of tech companies. Wattcore, doing very successful. Alema, which a lot of people don't know about, but they employ about 150 people. Very high-tech manufacturing. Some of the biggest names in the world are their customers.
What do they build?
So Alema does very thin, basically medical wire. and most of it is used for, say, pacemakers, etc. But some of their customers are also really big in the EV space as well. Again, a company that is already here in Palm Coast, employing over 150 people, and incredibly successful. So we take those companies like a Wattcore and an Alema, and then we add in a DC BLOX and a Google, and it's just, a catalyst for really promoting ourselves as a place to invest.
And this really was kind of the vision of Town Center way back in the early days, to provide kind of a town center mecca for where you could, live in Town Center, walk to work, whether it be a doctor to the hospital or medical crew and technology. And we've got Jacksonville U and, with nursing school and all that kind of stuff. And with I can kind of see and feel the whole Town Center thing gelling, can't you? You look excited about it.
Absolutely. No, when you take projects like the Promenade, right, and then you add in this announcement with DC BLOX, it really feels like things are starting to move fast in Town Center. And, something you said a moment ago really struck a chord with. When you take a project like DC BLOX and add it to the Town Center, which is primarily, commercial, residential, right? It's just an interesting mix to have that DC BLOX Google name in our own Town Center, as opposed to, say, on the western side of the city. And with that as well, you're landing a high-tech project in Town Center that isn't creating a lot of traffic as well. In the center of the city. So it just checks so many boxes. It's fantastic.
I think the Promenade, I go by City Hall at least once a week usually, and it's going up to the third story. They're putting concrete in and all this work that's going in there. Once that is alive and up and running and people are living there and there's shops and stuff, I think Town Center is going to, in some ways, feel like, okay, now it's the real Town Center. Once that's there, it's going to feel like that to me. So I'm pretty excited about how that's going to work out.
Me too. You really feel the energy. Like you said, we see the Promenade going vertical. One thing about the Promenade is, I drive by it every day, but it isn't until you see a drone shot, an aerial shot, to where you really get the scope of the size of it. And like you said, once it opens and people are dining there, shopping there, living there, it's a game changer. It's a game changer.
I saw something similar, like the Promenade where I grew up in Oviedo. And it's the same concept, restaurants, shops at the bottom, people living, on the second and third floors. And that place is always packed. My good friend, Megan Slade, I went to high school with, she's the mayor there, and she just swears by it. It was one of the best decisions that the city of Oviedo made, and I see that coming true as well here at the Town Center.
And you guys had an event to try to provide exposure for that for businesses. Is that typical? And was there any success from that?
Sure, absolutely. So that was really to get the word out to commercial brokers, people who are repping regional businesses that might be looking to expand.
That's hosted by the city, that event?
Well, we hosted it at City Hall, but really the event itself was more, driven by the developer. Mm-hmm. But certainly, we supported it. We were thrilled to host it. One thing that I say every time I talk about this project is not only all the positive attributes that we just talked about a few moments ago, but this developer is really coming in, building a high-class, high-quality product with the construction materials, with the way that they're planning this out. And when you speak to the developer, you really get the sense that they're going that extra step to make sure that this is a quality project.
Who is the developer?
Persimmon Capital.
Okay, all right. Yeah, and they're very community. We've talked with them and we've had them on and they're excited about what's happening in Town Center as well. So.
And really, and I'm sure they thought about this as they selected the site. You're coming to a site, you've got the lake right across the street. And so, if you want to go out to dinner on a Friday night and you park beside the lake in between City Hall and the Promenade, you're not going to feel like you're walking any extra steps because you're going to be in this city park environment with this lake. And it's just going to be a really pleasurable experience.
Budget, of course, City Council and the staff are putting together the budget for fiscal year 2026 already.
We are.
And it was a long meeting, but all the departments got up there and presented their case for how much money they need and everything. And you guys did a great job in cross-examining them on the expenditure. Overall, for the proposed budget for 2026, what are we looking at, Councilman Gambaro?
So I think, first of all, I just want to commend the city staff and the team for taking our vision for the city and our strategic action priorities and translating that into, what we foresee in revenues and how we're going to expend those taxpayer dollars. And it matches up well, well over $400 million budget between the different revenue streams that we have coming in. But just some of the highlights, $1 million for neighborhood street maintenance throughout the city's pavement management program, $1 million in capital investment for our maintenance operations center that we've already sunk $12 million in to do all the prep work. $500 set aside for saltwater canal dredging initiative. That's been a big concern for a lot of our residents in the C section. $1.3 million towards economic development incentives. We really didn't have that. We're making a strategic investment to bring other companies in with some incentives there.
So just for comparison, that in previous years was about how much? This is 1.3 million additional for economic development incentives. Does that sound right?
Approximately, loosely speaking.
And what was it in the past?
Just say roughly a little south of probably 700,000.
Okay,
Yep.
so a big jump in that.
It is
a big jump. But I think it really signals, to be frank, where we're at right now as a city, both in recognizing the need for economic development, but really kudos to city council and city leadership for saying, we're going to get across the finish line on this. And it's a fantastic signal. I think the leadership we have right now, both in City Hall and with the City Council, personally, I'm thrilled, and I see a lot of positive momentum going forward. One thing, again, to be concise, when we talk about this additional budget for incentives, we still really want to look at creating that site and building inventory, because we have to have a place to incentivize these projects to land. But certainly, it's a huge step forward. It's a smart step forward, and we're moving.
It's really more of an investment than an expense, though.
Absolutely.
Because you're spending that money to get money back.
Well, we're making it a priority.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're making it a priority.
All right.
And I did just want to touch on just a couple of other key highlights. I know we're getting short on time, but 17% increase in public safety over the previous years. That's our number one job, right, is to protect our residents. We're going to support, we're going to take a look at, the sheriff's ask on new deputies. And then we're building 2 new fire stations, right? 22 and 26. And as folks move in and they want to get their insurance rates down, one of the number one questions is, hey, how far is that fire station from your house? So like for fire station 26 out, in the Seminole Woods area, that's gonna make a big difference in the pockets of our residents. So overall, extremely proud of the work that our team's done. And for the most part, we're working well together. What is it? Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's
right?
it.
Are we ahead of the? I mean, you're talking about October is when this budget would kick in, right?
It is, yeah. But this
is July. I mean, wow, isn't that kind of unusual to be this far ahead of the game? Because everybody seems to be pretty much in agreement on the budget at this point. Maybe some tweaking and things like that. I know you're talking about a millage rate rollback possibly. So what's going on with that?
Well, so next Tuesday we're going to set the maximum, which I think we were all pretty much in agreement. There was going to be 4.1893,
which is the same as last year,
which
right?
is the current rate. And then the difference is $1 million in our budget if we decide to move back $0.1 million. Maybe we can bake that million up from Mayor Mike somewhere. But anyways, but it's a choice. What are we going to do with those that $1 million? Without that $1 million, what are we not going to do? Or do we keep the same rate, and do we invest in Track 17 or investing in a humane society?
Tell everybody what Track 17 is.
So Track 17, go ahead.
Sure. And this, David, you kind of mentioned at the beginning about what next steps might be, right? and that is going to be Track 17 by and large. I think it's been discussed on the show before, but Track 17 sits on US 1. It's a little over 100 acres that is city-owned, and it's got some strategic assets in that it sits on a 4-lane divided highway with direct access to 95. And most importantly, or just as important, you've got an FPL substation across PV grade, that service road, that supplies approximately 10 megawatts. And you also have the city's water and wastewater facility treatment there, facilities there. So it's a strategic asset, and it's one that with this city council, we're ready to move forward on and develop and make it a job creator.
So the question is whether to potentially keep that $1 million in the budget. One way to spend that would be to help develop Track 17 to make it easier to land more companies. Is that kind of the question?
Yeah, land and have the pads ready and build the buildings down the road. So it's the next step in that phase.
The alternative being make the tax rate a little bit lower, save everybody, it would really end up being probably like a few bucks for the year. But that's something that's one of the debates that'll, I guess, drive the tax rate.
It will, yeah. And so we're in discussions, and that's a discussion we're going to have over the next couple months. So yeah, we do have a lot of good work done already, but it's it's part of the process, and we'll sort it out because there'll be other issues and opportunities that'll come up to discuss as we go through the finalization of this process. But keep in mind our tax rate is the lowest. Well, Beverly Beach has the lowest in the county, but we're the next one that charges you less, and the county is around 7%. The school district has more than us. So I think for the value proposition of the services that the city of Palm Coast provides, given the millage rate, I think we do an outstanding job.
Is there an estimate on what DC BLOX and the whole subsea cable thing would mean in revenue to the city of Palm Coast, Craig?
I don't have what the tax revenue would be in front of me. As Bill mentioned, this initial investment will be about 35 to 40 million just in this first building. And that doesn't include the additional investment about the conduits, which will probably push everything closer to 60 million. And then, there's going to be a phase 2. The building that Google is going into is going to be a standalone building. So once DC BLOX finds a second customer, they'll start to look to build that second building, and we'll be looking at about another roughly $35 million investment.
And that means they would then be paying that property tax would be a lot more than what it is right now.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Good friends and neighbors to have. And that's great. And inside the building, I understand, it's just nothing but computers and servers and things like that. It's not a creature friendly inside there. It's all technology from the ground to the ceiling and just a whirring of computer noises.
Nerd heaven.
Exactly. And
nerd heaven.
Yeah. And if we have do we have an additional moment?
Sure, go ahead. Yeah. We'll take it for you.
Yeah. And just, real quick, on that note about the computer servers and whatnot, one thing that we'd really like to get out there to the public is that, Bill mentioned earlier the word hyperscale, which are these really huge data centers. This is a much smaller data center. The water usage on this data center is going to be for employee use only. Is going to be, it's a recycled cooling refrigerant to keep these servers cool. So it is not continuous water use, and it's going to be only employee use. In terms of the noise, one would get ahead of that as well. There will be backup generators. We got to keep these systems going 24/7. So the backup generators will be fired up only about once a month for about 30 minutes. So very low water use, very low noise, and it's not a hyperscale data center. And again, there's so many boxes that this project checks as a win. So we're happy about it.
I wonder what their electric bill will be every month. Any idea?
No, I don't.
Well, they've got 10 megawatts of capacity.
Yeah, I have to go do the math on that one. All right, well, it's so great. Oh, before we go, I want to say, all right, we're going to do, if you think Mike Norris, our mayor, is doing a great job, text him and tell him. And if you think he's not doing a good job and he's screwing things up for all the good things happening and he's in his own world or whatever you think, text him and say, I'm not happy with you and I don't support you. So it's, do you support Mayor Norris? Do you not support Mayor Norris? But be nice about it either way. And his cell phone number, which is not his personal one, it belongs to the city. We're the ones that pay for it, all the citizens here. So it's our cell phone he's using. And his cell phone number is 386-276-4016. Text the mayor and just let him know. It's kind of a straw poll. Because, his standing is that he's representing everybody that voted for him and all the other people that didn't. He's representing him, and he's kind of the hero, the only one standing up for justice and the community to it. But if you don't feel that way, or if you do, let him know. If you don't, let him know. And then we'll ask him for the straw poll results here in a week or so and see where we get. Would you promote that in the paper for people to text?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, Brian. All right. We got to get going, but I want to give final words of wisdom from our economic development manager, Craig McKinney.
Hey, thanks for having us on. Like the councilman said, teamwork makes the dream work. We've really got a bright future. It's been a fantastic week for the announcements. And as time progresses, we're going to have more and more coming up.
Okay, very good. Brigadier General Charlie Gambaro and also our city councilman. Final words of wisdom from you.
Yeah, Palm Coast is a great place to live. We live in paradise. I do want to put 2 plugs in for the city. There's a stormwater town hall on July 17th at the Palm Coast Community Center between 6 and 7. Stormwater is a big issue for our residents. And my wingman on the council there, Ty Miller, on July 24th is going to be having his town hall at the community center from 6 p.m. So please support him and ask him a lot of questions.
All right.
Thank you.
Very good. Brian McMillan.
Well, my last comment will be what I thought you were going to say last time you were on here, that Palm Coast open for business, right?
It is.
So anyway, but thanks everyone for listening, and you can read all about it in the Observer. And thank you for what you do, and David Ayers.
All right, Brian.
Thanks, David.
All right, text the mayor. Is he doing a good job or is he screwing up the city? 386-276-4016, 386-276-4016.